Connor looked really good today. Just kind of curious on what that pause was. I think it was before his first inning of work. There was just that kind of pause at the umpire.
When I walked out there with him,
yeah,
he was just kind of like wiggling his arm, and he's a big, strong kid. But anytime someone that talented is kind of just waving their arm, I asked for just like a medical timeout with the trainer to make sure that he was okay. And I went out there and was going to wait for the umpire to come out and give him 4 or 5 more and just make sure he was warm. And he kind of came in. He came in as soon as I walked out, and so I just want to make sure, one, he was healthy, and 2, like he felt okay if we rushed him or whatever it was. So we talked about between innings, like, hey, like we'll never rush you if you're not ready. You just got to. I need 5 more. Like, no problem. He's going to be a huge part this year and moving forward. He's going to play baseball for a long time. So we just got to make sure that he knows he takes as long as he needs, and I want to make sure he's healthy. And we got it all ironed out. But he's just such a good kid, and he's so competitive, and he wants to go. And just with young guys, just got to make sure they understand the tempo and the pace of of when you're coming in. Only when you're ready. So you get to where, hey, I'm 10 away, I'm 5 away, and then I'm slow walk, I'm ready. And so I kind of thought he was ready. Not that he wasn't, but I just wanted to double check and make sure. And if we needed to go to somebody else, we needed to know that right away. And it's a huge game, right? I understand that. All the boys understand that. But there's no game that's bigger than a kid's career. So we just had to make sure he was healthy. He was fine, felt good, went back out and was his normal self, and everything was fine. But yeah, just to double check everything.
With the life on his fastball, is it as simple as it just comes in at 95 mile per hour, or what makes it so tough to hit?
So it's like a 20 and 4, 20 and 6. So it's got a ton of vertical action. So it's like a true four seam. And I can remember in the fall when and he was a freshman in the fall, typically, where had a tough time throwing strikes, and it was like anywhere from 88 to 98, and you didn't really know which one it was going to be, and all that stuff. And the hitters would be frustrated when they popped it up or missed it. And I remember, I think it was Bobby and some of those guys, I brought him over to the track, man, was in the dugout, and I said, it's 95 and a 20 and 6. Like it's a unicorn. It's a really unique fastball, man. It's just a good one. So don't look at it like you're just missing, you're not on time. Like there's a unique property to it. So yeah, it has a bunch of life to it, and it really rides the zone. And I think his over-the-top slot makes it really unique as well, where it's really like it's got a real down angle in the velocity, in the lift to it. So it's obviously a tough pitch, and he's done a good enough job of being able to mix in a little cutter here and there and a change up here and there to show enough to make you think, hey, it might be something else, and then it really jumps. And I hope we play for another 6 weeks. But there's going to be a time where he gets to really work on that other stuff with Coach Grant, and then you'll see another huge jump for him. But we've really gone as he's gone, as Reisdorf has gone, and those guys have given us like a real bullpen, and has really helped us to solidify games. Either, and you guys know me, like I like to have a fireman. Like don't save guys to the end. If the 5th inning is the most important inning, we have to win the 5th inning, because if you give up 5 in the 5th, it just doesn't matter. You lose the game. So it's been nice to have a couple different guys where you can go to a fireman in the 5th, essentially a closer in the 5th, and then you have Reisdorf on the back end. And we're trying really hard to be smart with those guys, and 1 here, 2 there, 2 days off, and try to give them as much time as we can, but also understanding that the time of the year that we're in, like, we also have to balance that out.
Oh, go ahead, Nelly.
As Bothell had been struggling, but not only that, he hadn't pitched in a while. What was kind of different about him today? Got you really good start, 3 innings, 1 run.
Yeah, he was awesome. Coach Glant, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, gave him, if you notice, he was throwing his fastball from 2 different slots. And we thought, if we could get him something that he was confident in, just being able to just get in the zone, right? Compete in the zone. Essentially, your fastball becomes 2 separate pitches, and now you're a 2-pitch guy. So if you noticed, he was from the side and over the top. And so he was, 85, 87 from the side, 90, 91 over the top. And I think just the variety of it, there's enough life on his fastball over the top, was able to just beat enough barrels to get us 3 innings. And he's been working his tail off at it. And Coach Glant's been working with him every day, whether it's, working with different pitches or working with different velo ranges. Do we need to be 92 to 96? Do we need to be 88 to 90? What do we need to do to be to be able to go out there and compete? He's one of, if not the most talented pitcher on our staff, and he's a great kid. He's worked so hard, and he wants to do it. He wants to do well. And then probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, we started dabbling with from different slots, just something that he could feel confident with. And then he started having some success with it in the midweek stuff. And then he's had 2 or 3 outings in a row now where he was really good, and a bunch of strikes. And you're looking for hitters' feedback. How do you like it? Is it hard to hit? And all the guys, I mean, it's really, really tough. So we thought if he could give us 2 to 4 today, that would really set us up, knowing we have Foley and Reisdorf, and then kind of fill in between them. And it worked. I mean, best case scenario, right? Best case scenario, he goes in, he fills it up, does a really good job, gives us a start, and especially with the lefty start 2 times through, then you can go to the righties and really give them a different look. We did a really good job mixing, giving different looks, knowing that we're going to be a little bit short, right? Because everybody is on a midweek, but we knew we were going to be a little bit short. How do we just manage and try to keep them under 7 or 8? Give yourself a chance to win the game, and keep them in that 6 or less range. And Coach Clant did a masterful job. He did an awesome job. We had the leadoff walk there in that 3-run inning, leadoff walk, the chopper on the third base line, and Gabe did a good job. Gabe did his job. He came in and got 3 quick outs. It's going to be tough. He's going to the cutter a ton, and so the second time, that second inning, it's going to be a little bit harder to trick guys. But we're trying to not use Reisdorf until we absolutely had to. So it worked out really well. Just couldn't be happier for Ty, and to see him laughing and smiling and engaged was the big win for the day for me.
Do you feel this is the ultimate end justifies the means? You obviously canceled Southern Indiana. I think you would have lost 15 to 20 points just by taking the field. You're going to gain 30 today, so that's like a 45 to 50 point RPI difference, and it puts you in a much better position for the tournament. So you won, but do you think it's now more than ever the end justifies the means of switching that game out now to give your team a more competitive game that's going to give them a much better shot at in that large bid?
Yeah, it is, and again, they didn't do anything wrong, but you have a responsibility as a coach to put the guys in the best position to be successful. And Xavier wanted the same thing. Xavier wants the same thing. They have a really good team. They're top 50 RPI. They're right there on the bubble, and so they want to play against good teams. Billy's a great coach, and he's always ready to strap it on and play anybody. And so yeah, it worked out best case scenario for us. And I had some help along the way looking at the numbers, and I appreciate the help behind the scenes to manage all those things. But no, it worked out well for us today. We're really fortunate.
Take one more. With Bothwell, he was kind of rocking his feet before he came set. What was sort of the goal of that implementation?
Just to give him some rhythm. So much of what you do in the batter's box and so much in the mound is just rhythm and comfortability, and body in motion tends to stay in motion, right? And so if he has a little bit of rhythm, a little bit of movement, it keeps him from being static and straight, and he just feels better underway, as a lot of guys do. He's a hyper mobile, almost too mobile at times, and so he can get into positions that most guys can't get to, and so he has to feel that stretch. Well, when he's stagnant, sometimes his front side will leak and he'll leave his arm behind and he misses up an arm side. So giving him a little bit of rhythm to keep him in motion, get that good stretch, and then allow his body to work in conjunction with his arm. And so you see the same thing with hitters, and you'll see the guys, we have a couple guys that are working through adjustments right now. Josh Pine's working through an adjustment, really good early, got a little bit on his backside late. Again, it's a hyper mobile kid, and so he needs a little bit of rhythm. He's got to be in a good position to stretch and create that torque, and then creates a flat bat. So yeah, just figuring out a way to keep his body in sync with each other with his arm.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.